Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 228, live and direct.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. Live
Yeah,
and direct. Well, we're live. We're not direct to anybody yet.
we're
Although,
pre-recorded.
although I
Oh, we're live.
experimented with that steamboat, or I don't know what the fuck it's called, but
Steamboat Willie?
yeah, it was Steamboat Willie. Oh
Go ahead
man,
about it.
we're gonna
But
get
did
enough about
you
Steamboat Willie later this year.
wait a
But for
minute? Oh, are they
that
making a
live
movie?
action, yeah, the horror movies.
I just assumed it was happening, but I didn't see anything official. That's
Oh
all.
yeah, there's like two of them. There's like a Steamboat Willie one and another one, I think, with Mickey Mouse as well.
Suicide Mouse, man, it'd be the scariest fucking thing they could make. A full movie of Suicide Mouse, like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Take that and add a story to it. It would be actually, it would end up being like a Skinamarink thing because you're just going to be watching something happen, but this would be more terrifying.
Or
And I don't
wait,
know.
more, it will be terrifying. And by terrified, you just have to do anything. You could just put anything into your movie to make it more terrifying than Skinamarink.
Well, this is the thing about me and Skinamarink. I had to give it props and give it a 5 out of 10 because it was one of the few movies that I saw last year that I saw one or two things in the movie that I thought were fucking creepy that creeped me out. And it did that. It played back to those like a Suicide Mouse thing. It's just something that creeps me out. And a couple things happen, and they show the phone and some other thing. Either way, there was like two things in that movie that when I
Yeah.
watched them, they gave me like an uneasy fucking like a. It bugged me out a little bit, like Suicide Mouse. That is why I don't hate the movie, and that is why I give it props for doing what it did. I think people, I get it if it's not their thing, but people are walking around talking like it's a 1 out of 10. It's terrible. It's this and that. Yet other people are having it in their top 10s for 2023. So I'm not saying it's either. Like
Those
for me, it's a
people are,
5. But
again, I always speak out. Those people are crazy that have it in their top tens.
yeah, but it hit them a certain way, just like the way it hit me. For what I'm saying is they were on board with the, I don't want to say avant-garde, but they were on board with a different type of presentation for a horror movie. This has not been done before, which is usually a cool thing. You know, it's like, okay, we haven't seen something like, in a way, it's almost like found footage. We haven't seen it done exactly this way. Now, would that be cool? A Skinamarink done straight up found footage would actually be kind of badass. Two little kids that just have a camera that they're filming and messed up things start to happen and they get them. But that's another story. I'm just saying that if it hit them a certain way, I don't think that they're trying to be, especially knowing the two people that I know that put it in their top 10. They're guys just like you or I that are horror fans and that watch everything. Right. So it happened to land in their top 10s and it just happened to work for them. They're not saying it's this or it's an amazing piece of art or this or that. And I almost find that that's great. But I think if people are really egregious with their freaking how salty they are about it, that's what I don't like. I keep seeing people just like saying, well, like whatever you like and this and that. But except for Skinamarink, that's a piece of shit. And if you have that movie, you're wrong. I don't get that. And it's one of those movies where people pile up. It's the hate wagon. So
Oh,
I mean,
I mean,
that's why I defend it a little.
well, that's the
Yeah.
other thing though. Like now, no one can say anything. It just seems like it's. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I have no
That's
interest to
fine.
ever
Yeah,
even watch it again, or or
me neither.
or really to check out anything that the filmmaker does next. To be honest,
That's
so
that's
I
okay, man.
I found it was a total waste of my time, and like that that
Hey,
that's why it was it was on the bottom of my list last year.
I get that. If it's a waste of time, it did nothing for you. You didn't nothing that they were putting on the screen worked for you in any way, shape, or form. Of course, I don't blame you.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
you could
it's
get
just
you're staring at a couple, not a blank screen, but like, a set of stairs for like, 2 minutes. And I'm exaggerating, of course. And suddenly a loud noise happens. What's going to startle you? But does that make it a good
Sure.
movie? No,
No.
that to me, that's the lowest common denominator scare, that everybody blames slashers being the lowest common denominator, but just the loud noise jump scare, when that's all you've got, to me is the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the equivalent of internet scare. Is it funny? Is it good for a joke? Yeah, of course. The ones that you will watch something and then there's a jump out that just makes you jump out of your seat. Yeah, it's
Right.
fun for a lark, but I mean,
Hmm.
that's not what a movie's built on as well. That's kind of the equivalent of it. It's like the
But
internet
I'm gonna
jumps.
okay. But do you think Skinamarink was that a movie that was relying on jump scares? Because
No,
when I
def
think about
so
Skinamarink,
I did the comparison based on lowest common denominator in the sense of like the loud noise. That's really
okay,
the only comparison, because no, the person was going for something else. I don't think the person was trying to
an
troll
ambiance,
anybody or anything. I think it was an art film. It just was ridiculously too long for its own good. And again, in my opinion,
agreed.
because as
I
you mentioned,
agree.
there are people that like it, but I just don't like, I just don't see it. I don't get it.
Right. And I don't get it either. I just get a couple of things that hit me a certain way, and that was it. But let me put this out there. I watched it at 1.5 speed too. So I mean, you could kind of say I
Oh,
cheated.
as did I. 1.25, I think, at the very least.
Well, I started 1.25, and after 15 minutes, I was like, okay, fuck this,
Well, yeah.
1.5. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
did.
exactly.
So my experience was okay, maybe because I quote unquote cheated. I don't
Well,
know,
I
but
I didn't do that with Evil Laugh, which I already thought was I had it in the piece of shit range. I'm talking extremes here, but I had it like rated, like a 3 out of 10 or whatever. Now I rewatched it. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I'd say it's like a 5, because
okay.
I laugh? Yeah, I laughed a couple of times. It was meta. It was kind of meta before, like, at the same time frame that Jason Lives came out, because it
Right.
was 86. No one
Hmm.
else is really doing it other than Student Bodies that came out, which I'm not a fan of. Another one I'm gonna have to check out for a slasher show, because I do not like that. I do not like National Lampoon's Class Reunion. I don't remember
Oh,
Pandemonium that much, but I don't remember liking it if I have seen it. So far, the only comedy slasher that I like full-fledged comedy slasher, is Club Dread. That's the
okay.
only one that I like. And even that one's a little long for its own good, but I like that. Now, Evil Laugh, with the fact that Fat Joey from Part 5 directed it. Uh
Oh,
he, they have the Friday the 13th, they're reading the part with the New Beginning on the
uh-huh.
front. They make a Jason joke in there. I mean, they're very lazy with the killer's outfit, in my opinion. I think but that's one aspect of it. Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, some scenes like sometimes that's what bothers me with some slasher movies, is at least some of them will click along. And then this one is not slow or horribly slow, but there does seem to be scenes just thrown in for the sake of having another scene. There's no
Mm,
real point for them or anything else, but there's a couple of good kills. There's a couple of good kills. And the meta factor is probably what sets it apart from some of the other ones. Will I ever have to
right.
watch this one again? No. Do I need it in my collection? Absolutely not. It's a 5 out of 10. I was probably going to fail it again, but I said, yeah, I laughed. I laughed. I got a couple good chuckles out of it. And like I said, meta before its time.
Well, I don't even remember it. So I watched it last March. I looked it up and all I know is I gave it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. That's all I remember. It's been almost a year. My mind is shot. I'm not going to remember any, but I don't remember a whole lot about the movie. But I know I watched it with friends because at the time I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. I was trying, and I'm always doing it, but I don't always watch them. But I have like a list of like slashers from the 80s that I've never seen, or maybe have just seen once and haven't seen since, and they haven't been available, or they've only been on VHS.
Thank God
You
for
can
Tubi.
search, right,
Tubi is a
and
champ
YouTube,
here.
honestly.
Tubi and YouTube.
Yep.
Exactly. They have everything. I saw Humongous on YouTube.
Didn't
Now,
it
it's
help?
not the
That's
best. It's not the best version of it, but to be honest,
it
when
never
I
looks
saw it
good.
way back in the day, it looked like a piece of shit on VHS too.
It's terrible on VHS because
Oh,
it's so dark. It's still dark on Blu-ray. So imagine a VHS transfer. It must have been one joke after another when you're watching it because you don't know
I think
what
it
the
was
hell's
pitch
going
black.
on
You
half the
didn't know
time.
what the fuck was going on. And
See,
YouTube is
yeah,
better. YouTube is better, but it doesn't save the movie. But you can at least
right.
make out more of the movie. And yeah, Evil Laugh from '86. Like I said, gore and nudity. So,
Hmm.
from a golden age or around the golden age of slasher, it had a couple of the check marks for what you wanted in a slasher. At
You
least what
know,
guys wanted in a slasher. At least I don't know if women
sure.
always like to see naked women or not.
Yeah, well, most of them that are slasher fans are actually probably okay with it. They kind of want to see it just because, especially if it's from the 80s, they go back and they go, okay, that it's almost expected. It's kind of like the rules in Scream, which aren't really accurate, but people have a way of looking back on things like they were. It's the same thing with slashers,
Yeah,
especially Friday the
yeah.
13th. People like to count them all as saying, oh yeah, it was booze, it was blood and boobs and booze and whatever. But if you really look back at it, there wasn't really that much gratuitous TNA. Sometimes, yeah, but people
Yeah,
make it
4 and 5.
seem like it's part five for sure, sleazy
Yeah,
as can be.
yeah.
But it's like
2, 4, 5, and 7 are the ones that are
they have some, yeah,
yeah.
but it wasn't like egregious. It wasn't like overly done where, when people try to parody it now, they always make it look like it was much more than it was. And yeah, you did have some that
It
did
was more
that
the
that special
ripoffs. It was the ripoffs, not knowing what else to do. Okay,
because they
we'll
lack
amp up the nudity. Yeah,
right.
we like that. That was where they figured, okay, that part we could excel in
Yeah. And I
because
don't
we
need
got
it.
nothing else.
Do I like seeing pretty girls? Hell yeah. I always comment them when I see them on slashers and horror movies, this and that. A lot of times they make the movie more watchable for me. That's just the truth. And I almost feel like testing it, but I can't test it. But I always like watch a movie and I end up giving it like a 7 or something. And I say I was invested in this and that. I say I like the lead girl and this girl is pretty. And then I think about it. I wonder if I'm following this girl the whole movie and I'm not attracted to her. Would I check out of the movie? And if so, what can I say? I'm only human, but having really pretty people on the screen
Yeah,
has
it
to
makes a
be.
difference.
I mean, if you want to sell tickets, you probably want to have more attractive people there. And I get it. And it's not me being a misogynist or this is just business. Sex sells. And anyone that's going to tell you it doesn't is wrong because why is porno as big as it is? If it's huge, you know what I mean? The amount of people that watch pornography, and that's pornography. That's the freaking. I don't want to say the lowest of the low, but I'm saying that's all the way in. A guy watching a slasher flick, laughing
Balls
at some
deep.
TNA or getting excited about seeing this girl naked or
Yeah.
that is one thing, but porno
Well,
is a
because it was
you
like
know
you're seeing it in a legit movie. That was the difference. It was always like like,
right.
oh, this is a movie. Oh, I get to see this in a movie. Porn, you're expecting you don't see nudity in porn. There's something wrong with the pornography.
That's true.
Whereas if you're watching a film and you see, you're like, okay, like like I'm not going to say you weren't expecting it there because it's always going to sort of been there, or at least it's built to it, and it just became a staple and a welcome staple for a lot. So yeah, but you're right. I mean, Friday the 13th, they had it, but it's like
Sure,
they upped the ante in it within their own franchise sometimes.
just like when the remake came out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's like they took
forgot about that one. Yeah,
everything
yeah, yeah.
about everything that's been said about Friday the 13th films and just said, okay, we're just gonna do everything here. We're just gonna go freaking all in with the sex and the TNA and everything else. And they definitely this is what I don't understand. Why a lot of times people go in one direction, but here's what they do. How can I phrase this the right way? They take a slasher idea and they incorporated all this stuff in there from the old slashers, but they don't incorporate the right stuff instead of relying on suspense and having the kills a certain way. They say, okay, we'll just throw TNA because it's expected because it's a slasher. Well, I want to see good kills in a slasher, or at least creative kills. Give me that over the freaking TNA any day. If
Yeah.
I want TNA, I'll watch me a porno. I'm just saying, I don't. That is the least important thing to me when I watch a slasher, is whether or not the girl takes off her freaking top. I
And
mean,
that's, I
yeah,
think,
if
why
she's
you're
pretty
seeing
and
it
it's there,
less and less and less now, at least definitely in the mainstream ones. You're going to see it maybe in more of the underground ones or the direct to Tubi style, more likely. But the mainstream ones, I think
yeah.
that's going to be trimmed down quite a bit, for the most part. We're generalizing, of course. But I mean, I went on, so I watched since our last
Oh
show,
shoot, what did I watch? Lots.
whew, Humongous, The Deadly Intruder, Iced, Hide and Go Shriek, Silent Scream, Bodies, 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 of course, for tonight as well, and Evil Laugh. Slashers. Those are the slashers I watched.
Well,
Um,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, you go.
I'm just saying, most of what I've watched has been 2011 since the last recording. When did we record? Last week or the week before?
Yeah, because you're doing last week we did, and
Okay.
you're doing the 2011 show with the 22 Shots boys, right? So that's not boys, crew, because Carly's doing that show as well.
This is true. So, okay, let me see. What have I watched since? Well, a lot of these were 2011s. That's why. So it's kind of, yeah. See, I watched Tourist Trap, then I watched Sissy, then I watched. These are all 2011s. You're Next, not really a slasher. I'm not calling that a slasher, but I will say this about You're Next, and I said this in chat the other day, and some people understood and some didn't. If Your Next would have been a French movie, people would be blowing it. Take that exact same premise, take the kills being the exact same way and everything there, and have it not be filled with Americans. Just have some badass kills and a badass freaking final girl come back and do her thing and everything else inside a one house setting and people getting killed left and right. A movie like that, and I say French because they're most known for the extreme, but I'm thinking 2011 time. It just seems like movies that are from other countries, I don't want to say get a pass, but it seems like they get ranked higher because they're foreign when people rate movies. They seem to have more of a weight on them. Like if
Yeah.
Inside was just made by Americans, which was remade later. I'm not talking about that. But if it wasn't a French movie and it was just a movie and the same thing happens, I don't know if it's looked at the exact same. It's still a good movie. I'm just saying that I think that foreign movies, people seem
Like,
to
add
have
a
a
mystique to it or something like that. Like,
yes,
that's what
a
I was saying. Like
mystique.
we could have just filmed the movie and created our own language and put subtitles on it. But it goes more than that. I'm
Well,
joking kind
yeah,
of to an extreme, but like, I mean, for instance, the Deadly Intruder was sort of a cheap jack, total Halloween ripoff. That's with Danabucci. Danny, what's his
Danny
name?
Bonaducci.
Dan, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and that's not the one I was thinking of. I'm thinking Silent Scream. Silent Scream, not necessarily a great movie, but it looked good. It looked really good. It reminded me, remember we were talking about Madhouse? The aesthetic of
Yep.
Madhouse, it looked
Yeah.
more artistic than what you would. So, like, it added another level to it. It actually looked like there was some production value and some thought that went into the composition of the shots. So, whether that translates overall for the entire film, I mean, it did add a level to it because we both ended up enjoying that a lot more. Like, that may show up on the list. Silent Scream is a weird one because it
Hmm.
felt like it was made kind of pre-slasher,
Right.
but it was released. I think it ended up getting released in 80 because of the fact that it had troubled production and had to have some reshoots. And so they added like there's only a handful of deaths, but they're done slasher styles. Like it has enough slasher tropes in it to feel right at home with slasher movie, with
I
the
was going to
slasher.
ask you if you
Yeah.
considered it a slasher after watching it or not. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
I,
think it's going to be. It's like, I'll put it this way: it's not going to make my list. It's not going to make my list, but I don't have anybody. I don't have a problem including it in my watched category, nor would I have a problem with it if someone had it on their list. It's not going to offend me or anything else. At this point, I'm kind of
Oh
like what
shit.
you said. I don't care. When I bought the Inside Special Edition from Second Sight, their Blu-ray, the new one that just came out, and I just got it delivered this week. It says like the ultimate slasher movie. Well,
Huh.
I never really thought of it as a slasher movie. Yeah, it's a
No,
home
nah.
invasion, but I
Right.
mean,
Like your next.
but there you go. I mean,
Well,
self-described slasher film.
it's good marketing. The word slasher is a good market. It's used all the time because people like to put that word out there. It's like, oh,
Now,
this is a slasher.
I do think High Tension is a slasher film because of the way it's
Sure.
presented more so. But Inside would be more like the first Strangers. Strangers Pray at Night slasher,
Mm,
in my
right.
opinion.
Right.
But the first Strangers is home invasion, and it's a different. Yeah, there's some
I'm with you.
commonality, but they're not as interchangeable. Would I get offended if Carly put the Strangers on her list? No.
I don't care what they do.
Yeah,
Whoever comes
exactly.
on and
The only reason I won't be is because we know that there's two more, well, at least one more coming out next year, and it's already in plan that there's three more coming out. So I'm already going to
maybe.
disqualify it
Who
because
knows though? The first one could flop and they could say the hell with it. Like the
eh,
Exorcist thing.
I thought they were all filmed simultaneously though.
Oh, really? Now
So
that I
I
didn't
thought it
know.
was a done deal. But
That'd be
again,
something.
don't quote me. I'm going by an article that I read probably a year ago. So I
Well,
don't
we'll
quite
look into it.
remember.
We'll look into it because who knows at this stage? Who knows? I hope it is good, and they do have two more. So it's funny though. You said 86 and Evil Laugh, and it was filmed earlier, and the same thing with Silent Scream. I think 79, 80, depending on where you look. But either
Well,
way,
yeah, it says
this is
79,
what
but
I
then I
notice.
heard it was released 80, but then I actually heard it
Yeah,
was started filming in 77
right,
and had so much problems, so many production problems that they had to bring the cast back in and practically reshoot the whole movie, which is why it's listed as 79, but actually might have not gotten the actual theatrical run until 80.
right. It's
August 1980, I think it was.
well, this is the thing. A lot of slashers were filmed in the friggin' golden time 80, 81, 82, 83 ish, and didn't get released till later. We
Yeah.
do see that a lot. Evil Laugh, like I was saying, 86 and other ones. We've seen this. What's the other one that was shot early and then
Oh,
freaking eight?
Blood
Yeah.
Rage
Blood
and
Rage was another.
Curtains. We
Yeah.
knew came out was I think done in 81, but didn't get released till 83, 84. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that'll be cool. That's just what happens is that they film it and they come out later, but it's interesting to look at it and see when a lot of these ones were shot, but they still keep coming out all the way up until 89. Not as many, never died completely. Now the
Well,
thing about nowadays, this is the this is the issue with slashers now. Like I was saying earlier about how they like to look back fondly on this and this and this, and they added. I don't blame that for the reason, but it's a similar type thing where, in a lot of cases, not all, definitely not all, because there's a lot of modern slashers that aren't this way. But it seems that putting comedy in the slasher is a lot more common. Where, like, if you can compare, like, let's say different subgenres of modern horror, what would have the most comedy in it? Probably a slasher type film.
yeah,
They're
I
not in
agreed.
supernatural films. They're not in freaking, I mean, you do get them. You got
But you might have a
Renfield about a
one-off
vampire.
joke or whatever, but yeah.
You do have them, but it just seems like, and I wish that wasn't the case, but I do understand it's the Scream effect. It's the post Scream effect. And it's a lot of younger people that came on when Scream came on and they saw the humor in that and the, self awareness and whatnot. And now they want to put that in there and have a gimmick instead of just having it simple. Here's a slasher. Here's some kids stranded. This is what happened. Here's a guy with a mask on. Maybe he's deformed. Maybe he was done wrong, whatever. It's a real easy thing to write a regular script, a regular
Well,
slasher, but you still don't see a lot of them.
and I
That's
think
the
it's that
thing.
the comedy used to come from a more innocent spot of not necessarily being forced, but it was the dialogue and how the
Right.
characters delivered the dialogue. Now it's Now it's like, let's write jokes in the movie almost,
Yeah.
or let's have a couple of waka waka moments. Whereas before it was like just banter between the characters,
Yeah, which was
and you had,
fun.
yeah, exactly,
You
playful
know, it was,
banter.
yeah, and it was fun and it worked out like in Friday 4 with like freaking, dead fucking all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's not comedy. It's humor thrown in to lighten the moment. And because these are kids, kids want to go. And again, that's why they have TNA, because kids wanted, they're horny. They're teenagers. They want to drink and whatever and screw
tell each
around.
other dead
And
fucks.
fuck yeah,
But
that's what they do. So
uh,
I get it.
and
But
I do
the
too.
problem now is that I think that people have taken the humor aspect of it and they've done it too much.
It's
And
replaced the nudity.
you're right. Of all things, I know. I'd give me the nudity. It's just like, now, not all the time. Like, I'll tell you what. I watched. Okay, actually, let me tell you what I did watch to get back to that. But these were 2011s, right? So it's like, I watched Scream 4. I watched what else that could be a slasher? Final Destination 5. Mask Maker, which was 2011, and a slasher, which I actually enjoyed.
Mask Maker.
Yep. Mask Maker 2011. Check it. Yep. But I was watching what was the one that my super sweet, pardon me, my super psycho sweet 16. Now there is a movie that's a slasher and it's not comical. Yes, there's some light humor and there is some laughing at, what a freaking, you know, what a bitch the lead girl is and this and that. She's spoiled rotten. And there's humor in that, but it's not like overdone. And it was classic freaking slasher
Doesn't that have like a part
stuff.
1 and 2 to it?
There's three of
Or
them.
three of them? Yeah. I watched those because I think the
Oh,
22 Shots crew
they covered them.
liked them. I
Yeah.
covered them, and I ended up watching them, and I didn't really like them.
Oh, I'm surprised. I watched the first one the other day and
Yeah.
quite liked it. It was old school
Wow.
slasher shit. It was freaking, the kills were good. The setup was nice and easy. It was regular slasher stuff, and I was on
Yeah, well,
board, and it was cool to see what's her
so
name in it.
good.
Although I can't believe how different she looks. It was 2 years after, I think. Actually, I can't even remember. But
Well,
the
who is it?
girl,
I
well,
forgot
the
her
girl
name.
from freaking the Friday remake. What's her name?
Oh,
Juliana
oh yeah, yeah. My favorite Friday girl.
Dunning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the other reason I watched it. Yeah. Now maybe I liked the first one, and then I just hated the other two,
Hmm.
or maybe it was consistent throughout. Something again. I don't know if I was just because I don't go in with any high expectations when I'm putting on a slasher film. To be totally honest,
No,
I
that's
go
a
in
good way to
expecting
go.
wanting, it'd be nice if there's some atmosphere, some
Yep.
kills. The nudity is secondary, of course, by the kills are mandatory. I don't want, I don't have a problem. There always seems to be a handful that are off screen, but you've got to have a couple of showpieces. Like
Yep.
if there's none of those, it almost fails. It can almost fail. The atmosphere then has to be amped
Unless,
up to 11 then.
or
The scares in the
suspense.
atmosphere. Exactly. That's got to be amped right up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have no problem with that being lower if there's got to be a balance, right? So if you're
Yep.
if you're lacking in one category, then it's got to be amped up in the other. Now,
Oh, for
having
sure.
said all that, if there's no suspense, no blood, no amount of nudity is going to make that movie go through the roof.
No, no,
I
doesn't
could just
matter.
say,
It's
wow,
not
good
there,
nudity,
dude.
but that's not going
Right.
to save the film. So I guess it's got to be a balance of a couple of them at the very least.
Right,
Um,
man.
so sorry,
Yeah.
but what else was that? Was there any other
No,
ones that you'd
I'm
watched?
just seeing what I've watched. Charlie's Farm. Really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
I like Charlie's Farm.
Yeah, I liked it more this time than I did last time. What else? Charlie's Farm was there. Humongous, of course, because I watched it for something else, and then we got to go back to it later. And what else did I? Bloody Reunion was good. Splatter University was fine. What
Yeah,
else?
that one gets shit on a lot, and I actually remember getting a couple of chuckles out
No,
of that one too, because it
it's
kind
not
of knew
bad.
what it wanted it to be, or what it wanted to be. And whereas
Right,
some of these other ones are like they tiptoe or dance or tap dance around what they actually are. This one it almost had no
right,
apologies, which I'm
exactly.
surprised you liked
Final
it as.
hour. No, no, it was good. No, it was good. It's not the end of. It's not top
Yeah.
notch, but I enjoyed it. Final Hour was okay, decent. Open 24 Hours is good. The Orphan Killer was okay. What else?
Killer.
The Bleeder. Don't bother watching The Bleeder. Uh, what else? Simon Says was fine. Bereavement was good. So I'm doing okay. I am doing okay
Yeah.
with a lot of what's
Well,
the
here's
Satanic Attraction.
here's
Interesting.
uh here's some, this is not a definitive list from Tubi because I took off ones that I own that I'm going to just watch on Blue or 4K or whatever I may have it on, or that I have digitally or whatever I may have. But this is just a quick list. Not again, not full or comprehensive because there's more. There's many more on there. And this is not counting all those ship reader ones that have come out that you'll go, when did this come out? And find out it was last year or 2 years ago that you've never heard of before. I might get to
Yeah.
those depending on how many I get to see, but they're going to be at the bottom.
Right.
So the Initiation, Slaughter High, Shredder, Mountaintop Motel Massacre, Sorority House Massacre, The Prey, Deadly Manor, Hell Night, The Final Terror, The Slayer, Sledgehammer, The Toolbox Murders, the original, Edge of the Axe, The Nesting, Just Before Dawn, See No Evil, Savage Weekend, Bloody Murder, Open 24 Hours, Hayride, Slaughterhouse, Cut from 2001, Cut from 2014, Sorority Roar, the remake. They also have House and Sorority Roar. They, like I said, I'm not like the Mutilator, like these ones I own though. So
Right.
on Blu-ray, so I didn't include them, but there's a ton of others. But that's just a fairly short list that all are available there on Tubi to watch.
Nice. Good. Yeah, they're
So
solid. And
yeah,
YouTube has a lot too. And there's some people out there, you kind of have to find them backdoor style, where if you find one of them, a lot of people have playlists
that's
that are like
that's
two.
Gary Miller's favorite way with Chris K. Keith Scott, backdoor style,
Oh,
the Missouri
speaking of
way.
that, the Missouri way. Speaking of that, I got to talk to you about. Okay, anyway, I don't even know where the hell I was.
Oh, I cut
Either
you
way,
off. We were
no
talking about Tubi, then you're the back door with watching another other means to see the movie.
YouTube. Yeah, because you'll find somebody that has a movie, right, and then they will also have like a playlist that's like 200-300 movies deep. And then you save that playlist on YouTube, and then you'll see stuff in there. It's like they
Yeah.
don't advertise it because they'll get pulled, and they do have some on there, but most of them don't have an official release anywhere, or
Well,
some
that's how
do.
they get away with it. So my
Right,
understanding is if they don't have an official release, they will
they do
not
it.
pull it off of YouTube. But if
Right.
they have an official release, chances are you're going to
Well,
get. There are some that I've seen that I'm like, wait a second, I know this got a release, and
of
somehow
course.
it's made it, but maybe it didn't get.
Well, it's easy. It's easy why somehow it's made it. YouTube doesn't look at it and say screw this. YouTube puts it up. Somebody on the outside that owns the rights to it, the copyright, reaches out to them and basically sends a
Yeah.
cease and desist in a manner of speaking. They don't really, but they're saying, okay, that they don't have to do that. They just tell YouTube, hey, this is our copyright. I'll show you what I got. Boom, it comes down. But make no mistake, YouTube doesn't give a shit. Anything that's going to give them freaking ad revenue, they're gonna accept it. It's just like people selling bootlegs on Amazon,
They should get
eBay.
fucked. If they put 80 ads on there that people click on, they should get fucked for copyright infringement. YouTube.
Yeah, well, they don't
Yeah,
because
they
they
should.
cooperate. Oh, I hear you, but now they're ultra cooperative. Now you can't even do anything on there. You can't even say the ages. You can't even say freaking child porn. You got to say CP or this or that. You can't say nothing. But it's freaking worse and worse and
It's
worse
fine with me
by
because
the
I'm
day.
never searching nor saying child porn.
I don't search or say it, but I do watch a lot of true crime stuff, and I do watch a lot of um, guys getting busted in sting operations. See, I'm watching different stuff all the time. Right now, I'm on a kick actually of this is kind of interesting. I've been on a kick of watching these videos of like 10 10 creepiest Craigslist ads and stuff on the dark web and like stories that have led to things like people or Facebook Marketplace and they've gone somewhere and shit's gone down. And so I've been on a kick of all that stuff of like, scary things, scary phone calls that are recorded and scary texts and Instagram freaking predators and there's all these different stories. So that's just been the latest kick for this past week. But I bounce around a lot, but sometimes the kick is to catch a predator and shit like that. And there's other people that do it now. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes that
The
was stuff
home
about
the
people getting
homegrown
busted,
ones. Yeah.
shoplifting. A lot of them stuff, it's interesting. So they do talk about, this guy has such and such a child porn or this. And then they can't even say, like, I watch like true crime. I watched this one a lot called what the hell was it? Coffee House Crimes or something. And it's just whatever. I watched one today about this kid that killed his mother over an Xbox game or something. It was some weird thing. But anyway, they were talking about there's certain they won't in child porn is one thing, but they also say things like child abuse. They can't say that. They can't say anything that has to do with, and I'm missing the letters, but it's like what domestic abuse or something. They'll say DA. They won't say the bottom line is they don't say shit anymore on YouTube. They can't get away with saying anything, and it's just ultra freaking crazy now. It's just on another
I don't
level.
understand what the reasoning is. It's just it's like censorship. Like who created
Yeah.
these rules?
All I can guess is that it has something to do with ad revenue, like everything. Like
Yeah.
everything. If someone says we're not going to run ads on anymore with you until you change this, they change it. That's just the way. That's what happens with WWE. Not to get into that whole thing with Vince, but I'm just saying that in the past they were doing all kinds of stuff. They were geared more towards adults. Then they went to they became publicly traded, and then they started having, instead of having a PG-13 whatever, they started going to PG, and they stopped saying certain things and stopped having sexual things and stopped having certain things on their program, and it shifted back towards children because of, not because they care, but because freaking that people, and on the board and people that are dealing with them, they say they're not going to pay. They're not going to, we don't want to deal with
You
your
know what
show
they're
or not doing it.
finally doing on because Google Podcasts kind of died or is dying a slow death because it's not needed. And I guess because they've amalgamated and they started charging for the premium service on YouTube, essentially it's going to evolve and you can then just have your RSS feed for your podcast um, sent to YouTube. Because back in the day, remember when we were doing this, when we first started posting to YouTube before we had the video component, I couldn't put audio to it. You had to put audio and then put like the 4 hour long logo for your as a video.
Right.
So I had to create a video for it that just was the logo for the name of the show and the audio would run. That was like for the first, I don't know, 85, 90 episodes. And then we started doing the video feed thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So now, because they've got the audio component, I think with premium, now they're going to allow it. So I think very soon you're going to start seeing, so like TGIF, instead of having to create those stupid videos for it, I could just have my feed go right to YouTube. And so anybody who has YouTube, just like anything now, because some people have YouTube Premium, that's what they're going to use to listen to podcasts, even though they could have listened to it for free on Apple Podcasts, or they listen to Spotify. It's just going to become another way to listen to a show. Like our show could be on YouTube without it. Like right now, it is the video version, but I'm saying the audio version will be there too.
Really? That's
Yeah,
interesting. Well, I'll
soon.
tell you what. I got a deal now. Finally, I got 2 free months of YouTube Premium. So I
Well, you
haven't
told
seen
me
a
you did.
commercial in a week.
Last
Oh, did
show
I
you
tell you
told
that?
us. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
You're
right.
saying you were going in it and hoping that you're going to score a deal before it
Yeah.
cancels out. But
Well, so
yeah,
I
I'm just
love
saying
it, man. I'll tell you that.
it's
No commercial.
that only makes sense because Google Podcasts, we never got well, there wasn't much traction from there. All the traction really comes from Apple Podcasts and Spotify, really.
Right. Of
Then
course.
there's like the other component, which is like, iHeartRadio, radio podcast or whatever the hell it's called, et cetera, Overcast, but any other app that you use to listen to podcasts. Why anybody would pay for one to think that it's better than another, I don't understand. If you're listening to podcasts, why you'd pay for an app that allows you to listen to podcasts.
They either like the interface better, or they are able to pick up where they left off, and on some things they weren't able to. That's all I could think of. There's got to be a reason. It's not
Yeah.
brand loyalty, is it? I don't
It
know.
can't be. Like, I mean, one of the ones I just looked at today because I was putting on my new show. So my new show was supposed to go up tomorrow, but I had to link everything together to get it on all the different things. So yeah, it's out today. So it's
Okay, so now
pretty bad movie gab. It's out and it's
you
there
had
on
two
app.
new shows. You completely threw me for a fucking loop here
Well, that
because you
other
said you
show,
were.
I know. So Pretty Bad Movie Gab's the show with my buddy from my childhood that is non-horror related, and that was supposed to be the new podcast. This other thing that you go ahead. You tell
Well,
me.
because it took
Dead
me by
Man's
surprise.
yeah.
So what? And it's non-horror, and it's so I'm thinking this was what he was talking about, but apparently not. So the other day, I'm always checking on my podcast stuff to see what's happening, and then I look on the podcast and I see that there's an update on freaking the Skeleton Crew feed. Oh, like what the hell is this? Okay, I was just talking to Alex like a month ago, saying I'm ready to do something if you're ready, Yeah, but we haven't done anything yet. Either way, um, so then I look at this freaking thing, and it says Rocky, and I'm like,
Yeah.
shit. And I'm like, because I know Alex loves Rocky as much as I do. So I'm like, okay, he's doing a bare bones. He's gonna just he decided to talk about Rocky. Okay, fine, that's so be it. So then I start playing the freaking thing, and then you're on the fucking show, and freaking Chris, aka Scott.
Yeah, I'm turning into you here with all these shows. To be honest, to be totally honest, that was supposed to be a one-off, well, a one-off as in a six-off. We were supposed to do the Rocky movies, and that was it. It was going to be on the skeleton crew feed. Done. And we were talking. We said, "Hey, that was fun. Why don't we continue to do it?" So, but my thing was, and I'm in. I don't want to seem like but I told him, I go, look, I have just started.
Yeah, you're
I
fucked.
wasn't going to do another show. I had just
You sh-
started doing this other one with my buddy, and we have
yep.
4 episodes recorded. So we've got February already done. And it's going to be weekly and whatever. So I said, like, I kind of alluded to the fact that I might not be on it consistently. And that was supposed to be a big surprise. I didn't think that show was going to come out for another month. The way Alex was talking about editing, I thought, oh, that's going to be March. And all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I got the first one edited. We're going to release it tomorrow. We're like, what? And then
That's
Carl
how he
Weathers
does
just
things.
passed away. And so then, yeah,
Right.
so it was weird timing for all that. But yeah, it's exciting. I enjoyed recording all 6 of them. They're going to be a blast.
I'm
Uh,
sure.
I've heard the second one already, and it's great. So I don't know when that's coming out, but probably this week. But yeah, we'll
Nice.
see. Pretty bad movie Gab was going to be my only other show. So
Wow.
we'll see what
Well, I hope
happens.
you don't burn out, man, because that's what happens. That's
Yeah.
why I am the way I am. I mean, I'll do the other shows, of course. Then I do them, but the schedule's just kind of different. And as long as I keep it to Sundays, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
that's
that that's
my other thing is I've got a life too. So between living life, between watching movies, like work, life, uh, schedule of the family schedule and whatever. And I'm out and about like a few days of the week. So I'm not readily available to record.
right.
And so to be honest, the last thing I feel like doing on the weekend is recording all the time,
Oh,
except for our
okay.
show. Our show,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, our show's been standard since 2015.
Right,
So when
right.
am I going to do all these other shows, right? Pretty Bad Movie
True.
Gab. I'd already we came up with an agreement. We knew what we were doing, so that set there. Unfortunately, Dead Man's Party was the last one to come about. So I just wanted to be as open and honest as possible. So as much as I want to be part of it,
Good.
it just is going to be very difficult to record.
No, I hear you. And I don't like doing anything during the work week. If I'm working, if I have to get up early the next day, because I'm not in a good mood during the work week. So I don't like doing anything fun. I just want my life to be wake up, do the bullshit, do what you got to do. Life is a chore, fucking, when you have to work Monday to Friday. Boom, 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 boom. Weekend is when I can actually kick back and fucking try to enjoy myself. That's why I would rather do something in the week. Because if I do something during the week, I'm looking at my watch. I'm this. I got to get sleep. I got this. I got my family upstairs. I got to eat. It's too fucking. It overwhelms me, and I get too messed up. If I
Well,
could do something on a Saturday or a Sunday just for a couple hours, it's like okay, I can leave. Even today, leading up to this was stressful because I freaking time. See, this is my problem in life: is that I am the most regimented, scheduled person in the world. Where I know if I'm doing something at 6 o'clock, that means I'm doing this, and this up until this time. And then I'm going to plan what I'm going to do. So I planned on doing this, taking my shower at 4 o'clock, doing this. Everything is freaking planned away so I can do what I'm going to do. Now I had one frozen thing left in the freezer that I wanted to eat. And Francesca already had taken care of herself. She has some Chinese food. Irene's doing this diet thing now, so she's not supposedly not eating what I'm gonna eat. And then all of a sudden she asked me, it's like fucking 45 minutes ago, I'm getting ready to do this. She's like, "Can I have that hot pocket that's in the thing?" Now, me, I always keep something in the freezer for background, so I can never run out of food. So in a pinch, I can grab something and throw it in the microwave. I am Mr. Backups to backups because I don't like being the guy that has to run around and go get stuff last minute or go out in traffic after freaking 2 or 3 p.m. I don't want to do it. So I'm thinking I'm going to have that. It's going to be real easy. Boom. Okay. Hot pocket. Then she asked me, and of course I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead. Now I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do to eat. So I'm running. I only have freaking 20, 25 minutes. I got to get the computer started. I got to go here, there. It's not enough time for me to go out and get something. So then I got to try to find something. Luckily, I did have another backup. I had some chicken sausages, so I had to cook them up on the freaking stovetop. And I did it, and I was fine. But that's how close I keep everything. Just like this morning. You know why the whole day got messed up? Because I had to wake up. Here's what I did. I was going to my father's for breakfast, me and my brother, right? And then I guess Francesca too. She came today. So I was told yesterday, I'm going to go to my dad's at 10 o'clock for breakfast. So if I had to be somewhere at 10 o'clock, that means I'm sleeping till 9. I plan everything that way. Okay. So I'm going to sleep till 9. I'm not going to have breakfast. I'm going to have it there. So it gives me enough time to get up, take a shower, without having to rush. It's only a fucking 10-minute ride to my dad, plus probably 10 minutes at Tim Hortons because I'm going to get breakfast. And hopefully they don't fuck it up, which of course they did, but I didn't bother to go back. But that's that's a half-hour story about me and Tim Hortons. Holy cow. But anyway, so now I get up, I set my alarm for 9, I roll around in bed. It's like 10 after 9. Like, okay, let me get up now. Then I look at my dad sent a text. It says, Mike will be here at 9:30. That all because of that, my entire day has been run behind because then I couldn't take a shower. I had to get up, throw stuff on, and then Francesca got
but
invited
why
to
do you
go.
let it bother you? Why don't you just do what you're going to do and get there for 10?
Well, because I want to leave when Mike leaves. I don't want to stick around another half an hour and everything. I want to go. I want to arrive. This is how I like to do things. If I'm going to go somewhere and I want to go there with some, like my brother's going to be somewhere. Well, what time you going? I'll be there at 9 o'clock. Okay. I'll be there at 9 when he goes there. And when he brings up, okay, I got to go now. That's when I'm going to go. That's why, because then I feel like I put in enough time. You know what I mean? I'm there for 2 hours with my father and I don't have anywhere to go. But I knew he always has shit going on. He's another poor bastard because he has in-laws and he has that dog. He's got too much. He's always got to go somewhere or do something on the weekends. Poor bastard. So anyway, I knew that he would have a thing. So simply because of that, the whole trajectory of the day gets thrown off for me. Done. Now I can't take a shower. Now I got to get the food. Then I come home. Now I feel tired. Then I go and then I'm watching shit on YouTube for a little bit, just kicking it. I don't have any energy. I drink 2 cups of coffee. And then I get up, then I go take my shower, and then I shave. I decide today I'm going to shave because I'm going to be on this camera. So I shave and I haven't shaved in a week. So that takes 20 minutes. It's a serious shave. I got to do it like freaking, got to keep shaving. So
Yeah.
now that took an extra 15, 20 minutes that I wouldn't have done, but I didn't know I was going to have to scramble for food last minute. I didn't know. Like I said, my life is planned out. So as long as nothing comes in and throws a wrench at me in any way, I'll be fine. But as soon as something happens, my whole
Yeah.
day gets upside down, and that's the problem. I got to sit down one day and look at the like what you've been saying. I have to look at the responses on YouTube and the responses on Patreon and see what's going on. I just got to see. That's another thing. I have to set time aside to do it and say this is what I'm going to do. Whatever, like Monday at 4. But I have to set things aside and give myself,
Even
because
with
I
it
get
on
too,
your phone? I just
because
I
I'll
just
get
go in. I don't even want to be on my phone. And I'm like kind of like you with the notifications. I'm like, what the
they're
fuck's
off.
going on in that 22? Yeah, they're off for me too. But I get that
Yeah.
red, wherever the red dot goes, you go bang. I get it here and I'm like, oh, the 2011 sports talk for the 22 shots is lighting up again. And I'm like,
Oh, a
oh my
message. Yeah,
God.
no, it's different.
And then this, that, and the other thing. But Patreon, it's on my phone. I can go in there. Someone had a question about what the service you use is because they could never make it out. Like I couldn't when you first said it. I literally thought you were saying MB,
Yeah,
and so they
it is
couldn't make it
MB,
out. So it's
right?
MB, but so I had to give them the
Well,
information for what it was.
I happen to use MB, but the answer really is any file sharing app. You just have to hook
Yeah,
up with the person that runs it. You could do it on Plex. I just
yeah.
don't like Plex's interface and the way it runs. It sucked compared to MB. And every time I watch shit on Plex, it freezes up. I 99% of the time I watch it on MB, I don't have a problem. Every time I use Plex. But then again, I think that's the users. Like
It's
this guy
it
has
must
such
be. It must be
right.
because I never have an issue with Plex unless it's my issue, like unless there's a server issue or whatever,
Yeah, but
or
I watch
something's
your
down.
stuff and it'll free. Anybody I watch, there's it depends on the time of day and what it just sometimes it works without a hitch. Other times it keeps like I was trying to watch something with my friend Saint Maud because I wanted to show it to my friends a few weeks ago, and I don't have the blue, and I was gonna fucking order it and I didn't. Anyway, I don't have the blue and it was on the cheap, but I was like, okay, is it here? No, it's not streaming anywhere. But then it was on somebody's Plex and it was on MB, and occasionally on MB, something will freeze up and just freeze there. But it's only a problem for my server, like JP and Parker and Tyler. They all have it now. Just because on my server, which is 26, it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that on theirs it freezes. It's like a corrupted file on my server 26, but they can watch on their servers and it's not a problem. So it's just a problem with my server. And it happens now 1 out of freaking 200 movies I watch. Okay. It just happens. What can I do? I'll have to go elsewhere. So I did. So I saw that somebody had it on Plex and I tried watching it on Plex and I was in 30 seconds and it froze. And then another froze. I went for 30 seconds more and it froze and a little thing went around a little freaking circle. F this, or I'm not doing this to myself. So I couldn't watch it. I got to buy the blue if I want to show the movie to them. But that happens on Plex a lot where MB, like I said, it doesn't happen unless it's a corrupted file. But for whatever reason, it just works better. It's so that's for me. But the bottom line, an answer to that question is you have to get in with the guy that's sharing his files,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
only invite only, and it's only certain times. It's like a word of mouth thing. I should fucking go into business with the guy. I should say, hey, listen, I got such and such amount of people listening to my podcast. I can promote this and get you 20 people and freaking whatever at the end of the month. Will you do something for me? You know what I mean? But that's another story. So yeah, the thing is, this is the problem. See, I can't just answer. What if I answer that one question that one time because I get the email and there's 5 people before that said something and I didn't respond? Then I'd feel like a dick. Why am I going to pay attention to this one and not that one? So then I got to go back in time. I got to go back to every freaking one and I'll
But
do it
unless I'm
in
missing
YouTube,
something,
you know?
YouTube does get a little like because I don't get the notifications unless I'm going to upload the new whatever it was. But now I don't upload to YouTube. The only time I'm going to YouTube now is to release the old episodes. to make them come out so that people can listen that were Patreon exclusive before, and now being quote unquote, as I love to say, released to the masses. That's the only time I go in, and that will be the only time where I'll notice a notification. But that notification could be for anything because that's your private fucking shit. So sometimes it's related to the show, and sometimes it's just people responding to your wrestling stuff.
Right. Well, I
So
have everything off. So it's
yeah,
like, here's what I do. I'll go to my email. I'll go to the Gmail for Exploding Heads YouTube, and then I'll go to social. You know, a Gmail has the different things. Then I'll
yeah,
go to social, and then I'll see I got like 20 things. So and so commented on this. So,
yeah.
and I go, oh, fuck the rabbit hole. If I start this, I'm going to be here an hour. That's the problem. Is I have to set aside the time to do it because I don't want to leave anybody out. So that's the best answer I can give. Is I don't want anyone to feel slighted or think I'm blowing them off because I
Yeah.
can't stand it when people blow me off and don't respond. I remember that shit. I remember this. If somebody blew me off ever, I remember. I can't help it. And I don't want to be that type of person. I want to be accessible
No,
to
I
people
get
that
it.
are listening, especially patrons, more than anything, because without them, nothing's happening here. You know, and they've been all so patient. And I'm a fucking buffoon who's half out of his brain at this point, and friggin', I mean, yeah, we are watching movies and reviewing them again. It's fine, but I still feel like I'm not at my full potential. Like so I feel bad, kind of. I mean, the listeners don't seem to care. I guess we're still putting out 3 shows a month, and the patrons are happy with it. People aren't leaving, so they're awesome, and I love them for it. But that's what I'm saying. I have to make sure that I do right by everybody because
No,
they're doing right by
that's
us,
not a bad
and
thing. That's a good way to look at things. But then you
I
also
go
don't
nuts
want to
though.
do it so that you don't end up exactly pushing people away for not responding to them. So everything that you're trying not to do
Right,
can inadvertently happen because you're actually not responding to them. So all that
right. So I got
social
to go back
stuff,
and do it.
exactly,
That's what I'm
kind of.
saying. I got to schedule the time.
Some of the things I've answered to, some of the things are directly to you, like on YouTube. Some things are just generic.
Oh
Like I told you, like
yeah,
other thing, people would be like, you should like well, one person said, Jose or whatever said you should stop the show when he found out Brandon wasn't on it. I mean, well, stop the show. We've been doing it for 2 years with him not being on it. I go, and again, I said Brandon's great. Brandon's fantastic. We'd love him to be on today. But I said,
right,
having said that, you're speaking from that side of things, not realizing there's 2 years of the show. Well,
right. He doesn't know.
now more 1 year of the show left
Right, but
because I'm trying to catch up. We're almost a year behind the regular feed. But anyway, so I don't try to not to take it personally at all because we're doing what we're doing. But that's yeah, exactly. That's one person who's not a patron on that side there. To be honest, they're not who the show is like that they're secondary. Sounds
right,
horrible. Maybe I'll edit this part out. I don't know. I don't mean it to be a jerk about it, but we're doing this for the patrons.
right.
That's what we're doing it
I
for.
feel you.
The time it gets there, take it or leave it.
Well, here's the thing, though. I look at it a
That's
different way. Hold on, though. If someone's discovering us on YouTube, maybe they're
okay.
newer listeners.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to talk to them and maybe they will sign up for Patreon. Either way, I don't want to neglect anyone. So I actually look at I look at it the same way. Like I see people that I don't really know on a personal level at all that are commenting on the YouTube videos. I want to respond. Like you said, the one thing about the porn stars, see that alone, that stresses me out to come up with a fucking list. Now I got to sit down. I got to go to try to figure it out and say, okay, let me narrow it to 10 and do this. And then I have different qualifications. Then I have these all-time girls that I feel like if I put them on my list, they're going to go watch. If they go and look at it or something, it's going to be from the freaking late 80s, early 90s. And it's not very good pornography. But the girl was who I got into first, and she's beautiful. And she was my favorite for a while. So I can't just disregard somebody because it's not a different style of pornography now. You know what I mean?
The only guy that overthinks is top
Lists.
pornography
I,
lists.
I'm a list junkie. I want to make sure that I can leave lists in this world. Boom, and here it is. I guess I'm sick. It's like an OCD thing with lists, but I do take them seriously.
I
Like,
liked
okay,
her,
this
but
is
her
number
pussy
one.
lips dragged across the ground like ET's hands. And so I had to cross her off the list. So she's off the list because of her ET pussy lips. And now I've got my top 20 is now Sasha, Carla, Honey, and I'm just making up names now.
Oh,
But
I thought you had something going on.
no,
You
I
weren't
have
going to
no
tell me.
clue. I don't really know other than like the ones that
Sasha
we all
Grey,
know.
Sasha Knox.
Sasha Gray's all I know because of Entourage,
Sasha Knox.
and Jenna
Jameson
Jameson,
from
but
back in
because
the day.
one of the top ones, and she was on
Oh
Howard Stern
yeah.
parts.
Oh, so you don't know, you don't watch porn then is what you're saying. You know,
No,
you're not like me.
not at all. I don't. I do, but I have no knowledge of any. I don't give a shit about a
You didn't know
name.
the girls' names. See,
No,
all I care about is their names. Oh wow. I follow them. I mean, I've discovered them along the years different ways, but when I find a girl I like, that's it.
discover them. No, no, no. I'm on to like I'm like it could be a YouTube clip. Just it's whatever random
What?
clip it is. Yeah, I don't give a
God
shit.
bless you. You're so lucky that you can that stuff still works for you. Okay. I'm on a whole other
No,
level. I
I have
can't even do
no.
normal things.
I can
Okay.
tell.
Yeah, that's right. I can't. I can't look at somebody in a bikini. It sounds like when I was 14 years old and I can look at a freaking, you know what I mean? A magazine of anything and it's just going to work or watch like a freaking softcore thing. You know what I mean? With Shannon Worry or Shannon Tweed or one of those girls on TV and it's going to work. It's not going to work for me at this point.
Oh
I've been
no, I
doing it
mean
for
I
40
same
years.
same thing like that. Yeah, that would have been fine when I was like 14.
Right.
I'm just saying that like if I go to a site, I don't give a crap. There's really nothing going on in my search bar. I'm
It's
clicking on
good.
I'm don't judge a book
Right.
by its cover. Yeah, well, in this case, click.
Well, yeah. Plus
If I don't,
everything that comes now is modern.
toss it and I get a new book. Very
No,
simple.
that's good.
Very
I don't
simple
like the
process.
modern stuff. It is simple. I just don't like the modern stuff that's promoted.
Yeah, those
I have to
8K
dig.
asshole shots.
Well, yeah, it's like horror movies. If you just watch what freaking comes to the
You're telling
theater,
me. Yeah.
you're missing out on all these great things that you don't even know about. Imagine if you just watched the horror at the theater. That's the same
Yeah.
thing. That's like going by the recommends and what's on the front page of a porn site. It's all the new stuff and it's all like 6-minute videos. They're all short and they're all real clean looking. It's too clean looking and they look like real films. I don't like it. Any of that. The presentation now, there's so much of a turn off to me about the whole thing. And then if they have gloves on their hands, I don't want to see gloves. I don't want to see gloves on their hands or condoms on their dicks. I don't want to see it. It takes me out of it. I want the
What about high
illusion
heels? What if
of
they're wearing like
everything.
boots with the high heel boots?
I guess
And
for a
then
minute, but they got to come off. I don't care what they
what if they're
wear
like
as long
what if
as
they
it.
start digging them into the guy? Like they're
See, I don't have any of that
yeah.
stuff. See, as effed up as I am, I don't have any fetishes like that. So it's not like I'm completely off the freaking
What
out of
about
my
dirty
mind.
feet? What if a girl had dirty
No,
feet?
I don't want anything to do with feet.
I'm throwing shit.
I'm just saying, but there are a lot of fetishes that a lot of guys are into.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm into
Well,
down and
except
dirty
for
stuff.
you know what, clean, new, modern porn. So they got to put like a film. I'll film look everything for you. I'll get some new clips. I'll just film look it.
You're probably not even knowing what I'm talking about. The stuff that they put out now, the newer stuff, has like a look to it, like film as opposed to video. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. You ever
you
see
want
those
video?
polished? That's what I'm saying.
You
I want video. I want it to look like porn. I don't want it to look like a freaking Stanley Kubrick film. I don't want it. I don't want film. I want videotape.
what?
I want
I
freaking.
like the ones from the 70s that are shot on film.
That's another
That's
story, but I don't like those because they don't do enough in those movies and because there's too much story. I just want to get down to the action. I don't need that. When I was a kid, that
so
was
it's like a
one thing.
contradiction. Like that's what the new ones are. It's just like right down to the end. There's like literally like
Yeah, but
really
so are the
bad
ones I
setup.
watch. I
Okay.
agree, but the stuff that I'm into, which is from like the late '90s, from like 2000 to like I don't know, 2010ish, I guess that era. The way it is right now, I don't know. Anyway, enough for that. We've talked about everything but horror. This is crazy. How could we not talk about horror movies? Good
Hey,
God.
well, yeah. What is this show? Well, let's get
I
into
don't know.
reviews then.
But yeah. All right. So we are back on this. Next show, I'm gonna say it now. Next show, it'll be nothing but horror talk. How about that? Everything that comes up is gonna be horror. What do you think of
And
that?
probably a Valentine's Day slasher special.
Oh wait. Oh, that's right. What time is it? What day is it? Oh my God. It's the you're right. It will have to be
Yeah.
a Valentine's Day. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, now we'll get into the horror talk
Yeah.
in more ways than one. And we're going to start with our first film, Humongous from 1982. Humongous tells the tale of the monstrous offspring of a violent criminal grow up. What the fuck is this? I'm reading it
Yeah.
properly. I'm reading it from the B. And this makes Humongous tells the tale of when the
Hold on now.
monstrous offspring of a violent criminal grow up. This makes no sense. So this
It's
was
true.
user written.
Hold on.
No, but it's not written properly.
Oh, you mean the verbiage is wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, it's horribly written.
Okay.
We'll go to this one. We'll go to the next one.
Try it again.
Oh my God, this one's even. Woman is raped at cocktail party. I'm reading this verbatim. Years later, her son grows up to be a big, hairy, murderous monster, excuse me, who stalks a group of teens shipwrecked on his island. A little better. A little better than that first one. Holy fuck sticks. Either way,
Raped at a cocktail party.
both of them probably were the writers of this movie. I'm shocked this was directed by the guy that did Prom Night, to be honest.
Aha. Right. Me too.
I'm shocked.
Fair.
Holland.
Fair.
Now, having said
Very
that,
Canadian.
Some of his shot selection, which might, I don't know if he was the director of photography or not, is good. Like, that's what
Correct.
separates this from being totally amateur hour from someone
Right.
that had no competence whatsoever behind the camera. There's good composition and shot choices and editing. Like, there is definitely some talent there. But
That's
it's
fair.
murky as fucking can be, as we mentioned earlier. The VHS, I remember being like worse than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you couldn't see shit for half the movie. So that just didn't add to any enjoyment of it. And we did kind of touch upon this last episode. Is it slasher? Yeah, you know what? It fits the bill enough because there's enough tropes. It's essentially Madman by the last act.
I mean, yeah, it's the thing about that. Both movies that we're going to talk about tonight, we can question whether or not they're slashers. When you get down
there's the comparison or the shared.
Yes.
What we always
we've talked about leniency, right? Yeah. And we've talked about leniency. Show it's fine, but when you get right down to it, this one is set up like a slasher, right? 100%. The beginning, okay. The beginning didn't remind you of the Prowler, by the way, that party.
Yep.
Remember how the beginning? Yeah, the Rosemary's Killer and all that. Yeah, it was almost like the same location.
The editing there seems a little. I mean, I know I commented just the way they edited some of the shots later, but the editing there seemed off. Her squeals seemed off. Like there just seemed to be a little bit of a. Like, I don't know. Like they just did something wrong. They didn't set it up properly. By him getting attacked by the vengeful dogs that were just coming to their owner's rescue. I love that. I love the fact that the dogs came and mouthed the guy's throat open.
That was good. And if you have the uncut version, that's where you can actually see a little gore. You see a little gore in the beginning, and you see a little gore for the last kill of the sister with the glasses. Other than that, and that is the crime of this movie. This movie, if it would have had good kills in it, you could excuse everything else about it, and you could say, you know what? 7 out of 10. But I can't say that.
I know. And I'm trying not to let the murkiness of even the YouTube version, which is better, like we said earlier, better than the video version. I'm trying not to let that play into this at all because that's not fair to the movie because it's the version I saw. And I wish they had some cleaned up Blu-ray this would be the one time I'd say I would check this out again if I knew that there was a cleaned up version. But I heard there is a Blu-ray and I heard it's not that great. Or am I wrong?
Well, okay, I have the Blu-ray and it's as clean as you're going to get it. Ultimately, it's not great, but here's how you could tell the difference. because I got to show you the picture. Did you see the thing I put up in the chat today on the logo of the, because I watched trailers for
Yeah,
this
the one that
movie.
looks like it was a chicken wing, a
What
humongous
the
sign with
hell?
a chicken wing.
Yeah, right. So, but here's the thing. I watched the trailer on two different ones. They were VHS rips. Then it said HD. So I know that they got their trailer from the disc because it said
Okay.
HD trailer. So when you look at the trailer, that's going to be your deterrent. Watch the VHS trailer for this movie and then watch the one that says HD, and you will see the noticeable difference.
Okay.
But I mean, the
Yeah.
price for this movie, good luck. It's more bullshit. Go ahead, look it up.
Yeah, I know.
Humongous Blu-ray.
I'm not paying an arm and a leg for it. Like that.
Well,
That's for sure. Like it would be nice. Like I would have hoped it would have been on Tubi. Funny enough, it was not. So I watched it on YouTube.
right.
It is on YouTube, everybody, and it's there for you to check out. And I guess it's a decent enough. Like I said, it definitely blows away what I remember watching as a kid. I'm going to be honest. I failed this movie before. I think I gave it like a 3 out of 10. I'm not much different from this. I'm not trying to blow my load out of the gate. It's not much higher. It's still a failure. But I don't remember the last act of this at all. And to be honest, that's the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Because
Well,
that's what feels like a slasher. Like the backlit nature of Humongous is what gives it its creepiness. And when he roars into the room, it's a little terrifying because that's all you hear is this monstrous roar. And he comes in and he kind of is a cross between Madman Marks from Madman and Victor Crawley.
fair. Yeah.
That's what he's like. Yeah. So you when you look at it like that, you're like, okay. And the nature of the fact that there's unseen, like there's deaths that lead up to it. But you're right. The biggest crime, other than the bad transfer or the lack of a good transfer of this film right now, or again, without me seeing the Blu-ray, I admittedly have to admit, is the fact that all the deaths are pretty much off screen for the most part.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now look at this. There you go. Here, speaking of a shame, look at this. This is eBay right now. See what that says?
71 buckaroonies.
Yeah,
Oh, but the
18
shipping's only
bids
$4
with an hour left. $71. You know what?
for the Blu-ray.
Insane. Even if this movie,
That's no
not for this
spookies.
movie, it is ridiculous that anybody would pay that kind of money. Ridiculous. 100% ridiculous that somebody would pay that kind of money for this movie. If it was My Bloody Valentine and it was out of print, maybe. Okay. But Humongous,
You know
these
what,
people
though?
don't even know what they're
There are
getting
people, just like we were saying earlier, everybody's got different tastes, right? And I guess
you're right.
this is not for me. It's not necessarily for you. But there were people that said they preferred this. I was reading the comments on YouTube, and there were people that were thankful that it was up there. I was thankful it was up there. It was the way I was able to see it.
Hey.
And they were saying that they preferred it to prom night. There are people that hate prom night. I get it.
Yes,
They think
there
it's
are.
boring as shit, boring as hell.
Yep.
I'm not one of them. I love prom night.
Right.
But I can't disagree with them. There's no
Well,
kill in the first hour other than the setup.
Right.
But it's about that. It's almost more the giallo aspect. It's the guy talking like this on the phone. It's the creepy aspect of it. Like it's got enough creepiness to it. But this one's messy as well, but messy in a different way, and it doesn't necessarily have. The characters are all right. They're likable enough, but I don't know. Both movies tonight, I guess one of my complaints will be, I guess they're not likable enough, is that I don't like the characters. I don't like the characters in either movie, really.
Okay.
And if you don't like the characters, for the most part, this one I like the characters more than Bodies. I'll put it that way. But they both suffer from kind of unlikable character syndrome. To me.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, to me, there's the one jerk off brother in this movie.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of the people are fine. I like the girls. I love the lead girl. What's her name? Sandra, or starts with an S. Either way, the final girl, I think she's very pretty. So I like her. And the other girl, who's actually more sexualized and more, doing all the sexy
We see
stuff.
nudity, right? You see nudity with her.
A little with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of flaunting it the whole movie. She is, you know who she is. She's the girl from The Fly. She's the girl from The
Oh,
Fly when
that
he.
goes in and gets all turned on by him
Well,
and
remember
goes,
he brings her home.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
that girl.
yeah.
That girl. Her, the redhead girl. So I like them, and the other people are just okay. You know, the one brother's kind of cool. The one's a dick. He causes all this trouble. There's always some drunk jerk, and that was that guy. But bodies. We'll get to it when we get to it. I don't have a problem with. I mean, throughout the movie, no. I mean, I guess when things are revealed, more so of a yes. But throughout the movie, it just seemed okay. But anyway, this movie is set up like a slasher. This movie is more. It has a good idea. Let's have these freaking kids get shipwrecked on an island. It's got a great backstory of rape and this happening and this girl going there and having this kid and just the two of them. Again, it's Friday 2 action. It's
Yeah.
100% Friday 2 to the point that they do the freaking the thing at the end, which they at least hint earlier in the movie when they find the picture. Somebody tells her, she goes, "Oh, she looks like you." She tells the final girl.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more believable when you could pull that off when you say that. It's almost like, what other movie did they do that in with how they look? Oh, the Friday
I've heard
remake.
your Friday remake. I was just about to say, yeah,
Yeah,
brought it up earlier. So we
yeah,
did bring it up earlier. So there was a little horror talk earlier. We were talking slashers. You said we weren't
yeah.
talking horror.
Initially,
We talked slashers for a good half hour before we got into everything else.
maybe we did. Then we talked
So
about all kinds
yeah.
of other stuff for a while. That's all. Rocky and porno, and I hear you. Either way, uh, but this movie has that setup that people like, especially for an 80s slasher. Have kids secluded somewhere, let them do their thing, and let them get picked off and have a good showdown at the end. It's not lit well.
No.
The kills are not really good, and therein lies the problem. I
Well,
mean,
it's
it's
rather forgetful, but there is a cult following for this movie. There are people that like this. Like I dismissed this as absolute crap when I was a kid. You couldn't see anything. So if I can't see anything, it was garbage, in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what am I watching here? And
Mm-hmm.
then I didn't have fond memories of it. So when we went back, I don't know if I watched it before the slasher show or if it was for the initial slasher show, but I watched it again. But like I said, I don't even remember the last act of this movie. Rewatching it this time, but I remember watching it for there, and I scored it a 3. I just like, yep, no, it's still not good. I don't know what people, but there people do like this. And I can't take that away from them. Some people just love that old aesthetic and that old feeling, and whether it be bloodless or not, they had enough going for it. Like I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of Madman. People love Madman. Madman
Right.
has a 4K release and people love it. And I'm like, if I can find it on Blu-ray for dirt cheap, I'll maybe nab it to have as part of the collection. It's always been kind of a
Mm.
6 out of 10 for me. I remember I watched it last summer. I might have to watch it again to one final to see if it gets up there, but it's never hit that 7 range for me. And this movie's definitely not even up to Madman style for me. I
No,
I
it's not.
I still have to fail the movie. I give it like a 4 out of 10. It's a notch above where it was before, um, and I'm saying I'm trying to separate the picture quality from it. I'm trying to, but I don't know if I'm 100% successful with that because I feel like if there was a cleaner version of it and you're able to see things a bit more, that would heighten my enjoyment level. It's
A
just the
little.
reality of the situation. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to be open and saying I'm not letting it interfere with my rating, but I guess I'm lying, and it is. But I'm trying to say that it's the bloodless kills and whatnot. But admittedly, that last act where he's on the tear, and you really don't even get a good look at him.
No, by the time you see him, he's burnt. But I
Yeah,
hear there's a good reason for it though, because the makeup was so bad. He looked like
yeah,
Play-Doh. Wait a minute, hold on a
yes.
second.
When you see him when he's burnt,
Look at
he looks
this.
like Play-Doh. Yeah.
No, he looks like
Oh
Play-Doh
my
here. When he's
God.
burnt, he looks exactly like a freaking toasted marshmallow. His head looks like a giant marshmallow. You know how you can burn a
Yeah,
marshmallow when
and
you
burn
when
it
you have
up.
toasted
Yeah.
marshmallows and it's just black? That's what his head, even the shape of his head was square, like a marshmallow. I had a one eye in the one thing. That's what I'm to watch it again. You will 100% think of a marshmallow the rest of
Maybe
your life
that's why it
every
was.
time you
Maybe
get
they
to
just
see
had a
this.
horrible effects guy on the crew, and just didn't
Yeah.
want to, and just couldn't
Well,
showcase it. I don't know what it is, but
the beginning wasn't bad when they showed the guy's ankle and the gore on it and the slit throat. And it's the blood looked fine. The cut looked fine.
yeah,
Later on, when the girl gets
true.
killed, the sister with the glasses, it was obviously a prosthetic version of her face, and it almost looked a little bit more like a boy than it did her. But it was kind of par for the course for lower budget slashers at the time. I could accept the way that had looked,
And I'm
but
willing to forgive it. I mean, it's got some atmosphere with the locations
right.
or whatever, with the way it's shot, with the backlit version of him, but there's just not enough to make out, or not enough that I actually am seeing that I can rate high, which is why I still give it a failing grade. But I enjoyed it more than I ever have before, but still a 4 out of 10.
Okay. That's okay. At least you had that. At least you had that. I'm not as harsh on it. I like it. See, Madman's better, but I initially gave Madman the same rating, so I'm probably gonna have to lower my rating now that I think of. I'd rather watch Madman for
For
sure.
sure.
Although
For sure.
everything about the final act I remembered, and I like, because that's when you actually get decent kills. You get the Friday 2 stand down between Sandy and him, which is interesting. You
Oh,
get the
it's
guy getting
total
bear
Friday
hugged
too.
downstairs and crunched, 100% Friday 2. And then you get the good kill at the end with the girl, and then you get the kill of him with the freaking thing going through him. And anyway, so when you get to the final act, it's fine. And I always remembered. See, I'm the opposite of you. I remembered the final act mostly because I like the girl, because of Sandy. I think she's a pretty girl. And I was like, okay, I like this girl. I don't remember the rest. I just remember that they were, I guess, on an island. I confused this movie with the other movie that you mentioned earlier, even um, The Slayer, for some
Oh,
reason. Are they both on an island? I
well,
don't
they're
know.
both at a house. They're both at a house. The Slayer's got a better copy though, so you can see it. And lots of atmosphere there. Another slow burn.
Yeah,
So yeah, I can see why you'd mix them up. A lot of shots of like windows closing or whatever. Again, another one that I got to rewatch. But I didn't remember. I remember not hating it when I saw it for the slasher show.
I think probably the kills are better, is what it's going to come down to. Which, man, which it's like I said, if you don't have all that other stuff, you better have good kills if you want to make a passable slasher.
Well, this one
You
has
know,
nudity and it's got a little bit. It's got some atmosphere,
couple.
but again, the the kills were lacking, and again, the overall look of what we've got here does not help the cause. And once again, I'd have to reserve final judgment until I saw that Blu-ray. But based on every version I've seen of it, other than that, it's not won me over.
Right, and it's not going to at this point. It just won't. So I mean, so be. You're not going to spend that kind of money. You're never going to
Oh
see
God,
it
no.
then on Blue, because who's going to do that? Nobody. I mean, well, somebody, not you, not me either. There's no way I would spend that kind of money on a Blu-ray. I don't care what it is, but
No.
that's irrelevant. So I'm gonna have to lower my rating. Not that it matters to anybody, but I had it at a 6. I have it a 5.5 now because I gave Madman a 6, and I'm thinking I definitely would rather watch Madman. Although I watched this for the final girl, so it's hard to say. But everything else about freaking Madman is I guess better. The setup is better. The kills are better. You know what I mean? You got some cheesy. You got some stuff. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's just a little overrated as far as I'm concerned by a lot of slasher
Well, it
enthusiasts.
seems like
But either way,
I don't remember anybody talking about it back in the day. It was kind of a forgotten one. I think it just, what ends up
well, that's
happening
what
with these
happens.
ones, everybody's looking for a diamond in the rough. And Humongous is
Right.
definitely not it. For some of those YouTube commenters, it might be, but Madman seemed to at least get a better following, that there's more people
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, this is better than what we've been led to believe.
Well,
And
yeah, it
they
looks
tried
better.
that with Deadly Scream, or uh, House of Death, or Deadly Screams from '82, and
Yeah.
it's not quite there. They're trying that with The Prey. It's not that quite there for me as
Right.
well. Those are still in the rough.
The Mutilator was kind of one that came
Yeah,
to life, and Blood Rage. They kind of got discovered then and got a
yeah.
nice little push. But
And
you know
both of them I
why?
was lower on when I came into it, based on my sort of feelings back in the day, and then I never really, when I watched them again, but they both have grown on me. I own both of them on Blue,
There you
and
go.
I think like when they were on they never made my first slasher list. I can
Mm,
almost say there would be no question they're on this one based on being standalones and based on my enjoyment level going up and high.
yeah.
Blood Rage is almost one that I wanted to get done on, even though we're trying not to do horror. I said every now and then there will be a horror movie brought in, like on Pretty Bad Movie Gab, because I want mainstream. I want my buddy to check out Blood Rage and give me his honest opinion of that movie.
That'll be funny, actually, because there's some over the top stuff. But honestly, if you
Exactly.
take that woman out of the movie, it would go up.
Who's trying to call the guy that lives two fucking doors down for half the movie? Anyway,
Yeah.
we're not
It's
talking about that.
take that character out of the movie or have it portrayed a different way, and it would improve. But that's another story. So there you go. Six, a 5.5 and a 4.
Yeah.
So whatever. I mean,
Hasn't
again,
broken,
if
it
you're a
didn't break
slasher
10 with
guy,
two ratings. Yeah, that's crazy.
if you're I know, right? If you're a slasher fan, you're gonna want to still check it out if you can. Watch it on YouTube in the shitty
Yeah.
freaking transfer. Because don't spend $71 on it. It's sorry, just don't. You know, good God.
My
So
Lord.
anyway,
Well, here we go to our newer one, which I almost feel bad that I picked this one for us to rewatch, Dave, but I didn't really enjoy it that much when I saw it in 2022. Oh, let me just give the title, the explanation, and I'll give my feelings. I don't know
do
why
it.
I do this backwards. It's Bodies, Bodies, Bodies from 2022. When a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game turns deadly in this fresh and funny look at backstabbing fake friends and one party gone very, very wrong. Another synopsis that's horribly written, in my opinion, but at least gives a better
Mm,
idea of what the movie's about. Anyway, I didn't really like this. I think I gave it a 6. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I think I gave this a 6. Guess where my
okay,
rating is today?
the
The
same.
6. It's the same. It hasn't changed. Everything I said, there's nothing. The reason I wanted to give this another chance is because I saw so many people when we were doing our year-end lists or whatever, bring it up and say, oh, they saw this, they loved it, they thought it was great. It was making people's lists. And I think it was exactly what you just said last review or before the review, where if you just saw theatrical movies, okay, maybe because your pickings were slim. But 2022, there was a lot of other movies that you could have chosen from. I'm not saying this is a horrible movie by any means, but it's definitely the probably the most dislikable cast of the year of 2022.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know. You tell me,
I
did you,
didn't mind them.
other than the one girl that's in Borat 2, that plays his daughter, the blonde girl with the accent, she's good in this and probably the only redeemable character, in my opinion.
Interesting. I mean, by the time you get to the end, things get revealed, and then it's kind of more of a take on human race in modern, the modern generation and how they are. But I don't. Again, see, and I say this all the time. Everybody's a shade of gray. I I kind of like that. It seems more true to life.
Well,
Uh,
you're
Somebody
not
cheated
wrong.
on their girlfriend,
Yeah,
fine. Somebody not fine, but whatever. Somebody
good for
um
them.
was doing something with their podcast, and the other girl was talking a little shit about it and whatnot. I mean, who was really a terrible person? I don't think anybody. I I mean, they do have their things, and everybody has their own reasons. They dig a little bit into their personalities and why they are the way they are. And that's
Well,
kind of what I liked about it.
the problem is with
That
me. They are perfectly cast and perfectly portray the 20-something rich kid. What I just don't like what I'm watching. It's not fun for me. So I just don't care. They're just bratty and what they're talking about. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, get on with it. But their portrayal, like you're saying, is probably spot on. So it's maybe it's not
Yeah.
it's the fault is with me. It's just they're doing a
Well,
great job
no,
and I don't like them.
that's probably a common complaint. It just, they seemed, I don't see anything outrageous about the characters, about them being extremely dislikable. Or again, when it gets to the satirical part, just kind of when they're saying things towards the end, it's more of a statement on just like that generation. And it's kind of like poking fun. And it definitely is. That's where the comedy comes in. But there's no real comedy. There's a little bit of humor, but it's not like,
Well,
see, this is
it's
okay,
kind of again, it's a dark comedy, just like that other one that we
a
did that you're like,
little,
yeah.
but the thing is, this is what I like about this movie. This is set up like an old school slasher. Freaking young people in an isolated location in a freaking playing a game like they've done in other movies, like hide and go shriek. They play hide and seek. Then they play the other game in the mutilator in the daytime. But it looks like the bottom line is
Hey, for night.
that's what they used to do in freaking 80s slashers. They get together, they play a game. It's dark.
Kids
One
game.
thing
Yeah,
leads
you're
to
right.
another. There's somebody that's picking them off. That is all. This is what I enjoyed about it as I'm experiencing. I'm like, okay, this doesn't play out like the modern slashers do. This plays out a little differently. Maybe the characters are like modern slasher characters. I guess maybe I'm
Well,
a little bit
it
biased.
couldn't play out 100% based on where it goes as well. So they have to get around the story aspect of where they're going to end up because there's really nobody, you know.
Well,
Again, guys, we spoil this. You can't not talk about this movie without spoiling it. So if you haven't seen it, probably turn this off, watch it because I
yeah,
can't talk about it without spoiling it.
we
Um,
have to.
yeah, so I'm going to go right into spoilers. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background; he's going nuts now. The killer, there is no killer. that's that's the thing. It's all a big miscommunication.
It's a
Um,
murder mystery.
it's essentially that. It's disguised as a slasher, which is great. I have no problem with that, or necessarily the reveal. That's the best part of the movie. Him trying to open up trying to
It
copy
makes
his
sense.
buddy when he was trying to
Right.
hit the bottle cap off of a
Because he's
bottle with
jealous
a
of that
machete.
guy.
Yeah, and
Because he
then
had issues with that guy.
he did it. So he's trying it. The Pete
It
Davidson
talks about
character
his character.
is trying
This
it,
is
and
what
he
I'm saying.
slits his own fucking throat. But they think
Yeah.
because what we've seen is that his throat got slit. And he comes up
Right.
to a window in typical slasher fashion, like Shelley from part fucking 3, Friday the 13th. They're like, against the window, and they think his neck's been slit by somebody there. So who's the
Right.
killer? And it sets everything into motion, but it's one misstep after another. So there's a lot of accidental death to essentially have everybody dead in the movie except for two of them at the end, and then they get the revelation. So they look at his cell phone because he was trying to record himself while he was trying to do this, and then they realize that he slit his own neck. So that everything that we've witnessed from that point on was just a big misunderstanding, but brought the worst out of all of them. So
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. That's why it's a 6 and not lower. But my enjoyment of the movie overall is not significantly higher. I mean, 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10, whatever sounds better. At the end of the day, I still don't think I'll ever have to watch this again, though. And like,
Wow.
yeah, but I enjoyed
Well,
my
see, I liked
time.
it.
I enjoyed my time enough with the characters that I liked, but because I didn't really like a lot of them, and because they're just like I've been like, fuck, if any of these were my friends, I'd fucking want to kill myself.
They just seem like regular young folks to me. Like the only people that I
Really?
thought could have been kind of assholish were the two white girls, the two brunette girls. Like the one girl was like, trying to overact and all the other shit, and then the other one was all self-centered. But
Oh, the
the
one
other
black girl that
ones,
ends up shooting, she actually gets to the point where she shoots him. She's the worst of the bunch.
wait a minute, slow down. Are you talking about the lead Sophie? Or are you talking about
No, they're the other girl.
okay?
They
So
didn't even
so
have the
you're
decency of making her
Jordan?
Asian so that we could have at least gotten a cross section of nationalities in this.
No,
Damn
I
this
don't want. No,
modern
no, no.
movie. No, I'm just saying that this movie it's trying to play the card of being all politically
Well,
correct, and it still fucks it up.
they
No,
did great.
the other black girl that ends up,
Jordan,
yeah, I don't
she
even
shot.
remember
But
the
hold
name.
on. See, I'm all about freaking. I'm all about Jordan and Sophie. They're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, those
Yeah,
two.
but you got to let that go. They're horrible people, or Jordan is anyway.
Why? What did Jordan do so bad? Refresh me.
She shot somebody plain as
What
day
did?
because she got so pissed off about how they were talking about her that
Oh,
she
she shot
actually
her friend
shot
in the
her.
foot or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay. Sorry. How is that
Okay.
excusable?
It's not excusable. It's just they're freaking given the circumstances of the stress and they're freaking, you know, who's the killer, what's going on, everybody in that situation they're in arguing and everything else and being drugged up and freaking awake and everything going on in the heat of the moment and them insulting each other because they're all stressed out because that's what would happen with people in a murder mystery going at each other's throats with good reason in a couple of places. Like, okay, you're this because of this. And like, oh yeah, wait a minute, you're right. How come you lied about this? So it just gets back to I could totally 100% see it playing out that way. Yeah, okay, you're right. She should not have shot her friend. You're 100% right. I forgot about that. It was a bad move.
Well,
You're
they're
right.
doing it.
She had issues.
They're doing that to propel the script of going, well, now she's the killer. So for the guessing game portion of it, it's fine. I'm just saying she's a deplorable person. Like I wouldn't want her as my friend, beautiful or not. I don't want her anywhere around me. I wouldn't want any of these people around me except for the
They didn't
blonde girl.
bother me. Oh,
Oh,
I
I
see. I
hated every
was
one of actually Greg,
wow.
the old guy, the old creepy guy. He was probably
Yeah,
the coolest guy out of the batch
yeah, I liked him. Yeah,
because he was normal. They just mistook him as the killer. And then the girl that I was actually siding with kills him in self-defense, thinking that he's attacking them in that thing.
right.
Like there's a lot of accidental death, is what I'm saying there.
So
But
what's so bad about Sophie then? Because we
Sophie's
find
oh
out she cheated on the way
yeah,
with
Sophie,
the
I
girl.
guess is okay. She's a bit better, but yeah, again, she supposedly cheated on her friend.
Well, she did, and so be it. That doesn't make her a terrible person. Like I can't watch him on my screen, or I don't know.
No,
I just
no, you're right. You're right. I'm just saying that nobody's likable though. There's really no likable characters here.
yeah. I
Which is
guess they
fine.
don't bother
Which is
me.
fine. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of whether or not you let that bother you or not. I was annoyed
Well,
by it. I'm like, well, like I don't give a crap if any of these, all of them could die, and I hope they do, which they almost all do. So great in that regard. Mission accomplished. So it's just yeah. I guess in my mind, I kind of wish it was slasher instead of
no,
accidental.
I agree. Right, I agree with that. I wish it would have opened up as an actual slasher at the end when we find out it's a great reveal. It's a great murder mystery, and I 100% get what you're saying. And I hear people say it all the time with the characters. I just I always want everyone to die anyway. So it doesn't make a difference to me if I like the character, I don't like the character. I just, they're all red shirts to me. It's just a matter of time. I just
Well,
hope that the kills are going to be good.
it,
And hopefully, I have attractive women. And I did. I did with those two. Mamma mia. So, I mean, maybe I'm hyper focused on them because see, that's what I'm saying. Maybe sometimes if I'm attracted to women in movies, everything else is excusable where I'm along for the ride and
well,
maybe where other times I would have been bored or drifted off or something else would have. It doesn't happen in movies like this because there's usually one of those two girls is around. So,
Well,
but
my thing is they were written to not be likable. Like I don't think anybody could say, "Oh, they like
maybe
them."
they are.
I don't think, but I'm just saying the downfall is then there's nothing to latch on to. So if everybody's not like, or for the maybe I'm overdoing it because not everybody's not likable,
Okay.
but for
What
the
about
most part,
Sissy? What about the crew in Sissy? We just talked about it last week. How is that
yeah,
group significantly better than this one? It was all kind of the same shit.
there are similarities. There are similarities, but for whatever reason, I was not as annoyed by that other group. Don't they did it? There was a bit
They were
a
more
level of
annoying to
it.
me.
They were funny. Yeah. No, this
Yeah, yeah,
this
like
group,
the
I'd be
one girl
like,
for sure.
this group nailed their role, is what I'm saying. They were supposed to be spoiled,
Yeah.
rich 20 somethings, and they played it to a T that I wouldn't want to hang out with these people. I'd be like, fuck them. I'd use them for their pool, but then I'd get the fuck out of Dodge before that hurricane hit.
But for sure. But I do like what that guy says because he freaking calls the one girl out on shit. I forgot which one it is, but the guy that owns the house, right? The guy that's wasted, So he goes off on the one part, and he's like, and I love it what he says because it's the kind of shit that I've thought. And he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, you're. She's telling him you're trying to gaslight me all night, and he goes, what the fuck does that even mean? He goes, that's the
Yes.
stupidest word ever. And he's like, gaslight. He goes, all that means is that you read the internet. And see, I agree. He's actually calling out his own friggin' generation for being stupid with this. Then they have that one part.
I actually didn't mind Pete Davidson, even though he's a piece of shit. I didn't mind him.
Okay.
Well, Pete Davidson's the actor. I didn't mind him in this. He's the one that dated the Kardashian and whatever.
Oh, did he? Good on him.
And Ariana Grande or whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah, Ariana. Yeah, she's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, okay, again, man, we've got that reversed. You said Kardashian, oh, good on him. And Ariana Grande, you're like, yeah, she's okay. That would be the total opposite for me.
Well, you know why?
That's okay.
I'll tell you why. Because the Kardashian girls are hot to me. Well, specifically Kim, and then the other one. I don't remember the other one's
What
names,
about the dad? The mom?
Whoever it is, someone's hot. Two of them are hot. So I'm guessing he dated one of them. I don't know. Ariana Grande to me, there's a problem because she used to. My daughter used to watch the show on Nickelodeon.
Yes. Yep.
And she was on it. What was it? Sam and Cat?
Yeah, she was horrible.
She was so fucking annoying playing that dumb girl.
Yeah.
And she still looks young to me. That is the problem. Ariana Grande still see, and I've said this before. I can look at a 24-year-old and say, wow, she's hot. I can also look at another 24-year-old and say, wow, she looks young. I'm not attracted to her because she looks too young. It just happens to be the individual version. To me, that Ariana Grande looks the same as she did when she was a little girl. Like she hasn't changed much. I'm like, so she doesn't do
like 30 now?
I don't know what she is, but for whatever reason. Now there you go. Now you got Jenna Ortega, who I think's very attractive. And I don't know how old she is, and she still looks a little young, but you can see how sexy she's getting. But it's not like Ariana Grande. When I see her, I just think of, I don't know, Sam or Kat. And now the other girl in that show ended up being hot. And she was in the other movie, the blonde girl. The Sam and Cat. What was the girl's name? Son of a bitch. Well, she was in that movie.
Is like 30, 31. So
is she really?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't think she's that young, and that's why it's great. Like, whereas all the other ones are young. But like, anyway, I don't know why we're talking about her, other than
they're all 27, 26. Either
Davidson
way,
dated her. But
Davidson.
He also had another part. He had another part in that was when he talks about the guy, the old kid, the guy who he doesn't like, said something. He goes, "What does that mean? Tell me what does that mean?" And then just won't let it go.
The best offense is a good defense, or the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah. He's like,
and he was messing with him.
What does that mean? But as much as I laughed, I'm like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit asshole.
Yeah, but I know why. He was jealous of that guy. He was messing with him. He didn't want him there.
I get it. It's
his show. It's his house.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So he's like, who's this guy coming in? I'm like the leader of this group.
And I don't have to like every character.
All the girls are fawning. No, I get it. I'm just explaining what's going on in his head. This is what I do when I see a character act away. I'm like, okay, why are they just an asshole all the time? Like that kid in Humongous is just a drunk asshole. And he was just a mean-spirited asshole. I don't feel that way about people in this movie. And if I do see something, I'm trying to figure out why, what's up with their past. And you can see they're kind of neglected. Each one of them has like a thing. You know what I mean? But either way, there's a discussion later on, which is just so telling. And they're all four of them, I think, are having something to say. It's the four girls left right before Jordan shoots the other girl, the other dark-haired girl. And they're talking, and the things that are coming out, she's like, oh, yeah, something about, oh, yeah, this is triggering. This person here is borderline. This is me dealing with life in an attention economy. I'm being enabled. Oh, you're emotionally abusive. You gave me PTSD. And that's the satire of it, is that these people, and it's not their fault. This is the freaking thing that they've grown up in, where they're all victimized and where people just can't relate to each other human beings anymore and say, yeah, I fucked up. I was in a bad mood, or this, everything has to be a diagnosis of this, that, and an over examination. It's just like Moods was saying not so long ago about anxiety. He's like, everybody has anxiety now. And that's just human nature. Everybody gets anxious about stuff. And like me, you know what I mean? I don't mean to get on this whole rant. I'm just saying that they
No,
were doing this for a reason. They were making fun. That was the satirical part about these people. And in the very, very end, the last thing that she says, when she just finds out that freaking her girlfriend cheated on her and that all these people are dead and they're thinking, the first thing the girl says, the girl that you like, freaking goes around, finds her phone and grabs it, and she goes, I have reception. That's all she cared about at that moment, was that she had reception. That is so typical of freaking that generation. And that's what it is. And that's what this movie is about.
no,
and that's
and you're right.
what I like about it.
Yeah, you're right. I can't argue against any of that. Um, the satire is on. Well, that's a little forced. I was gonna say it's on point, but it's pretty much shoved down your throat.
Overplayed.
I don't think anybody could if it was a bit more subtle. There's no subtlety with it. So everything you're saying is bang on. And I'm like, maybe I am being too hard on the movie. But then I think back to the movie. I'm like, yeah, but it was like I was getting hit with a sledgehammer with the message. Like, it's not like there was any subtlety whatsoever. Maybe was the point. But I'm just saying, so be it. It was not my cup of tea.
Fair.
Not my cup of tea. If I would have maybe liked a little bit more subtlety with it, possibly. But I did like it, and you're bang on. Like, that was the point. That's you're right. The last line is I got reception, because he's like, what the fuck happened? And everything else.
But it's only that clash. It's like, see, you think that they sledgehammered it. I think they only did it in that one scene, where the rest of the stuff was what, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, like you would see in a modern film of people that age. But just when they have that discussion, just for like that 5 minutes, when they're bickering, and nobody wants to accept blame. Everybody wants to say, okay, well, I did this, but this is the reason why. It's because I suffer from this, or because you made me suffer from this, or this happened, or that.
No, yeah,
you're 5 minutes.
You're on point, man. You're absolutely correct. That's there, and you're right, and that is a good aspect of it. I think maybe they take it a little too far, but yes,
maybe they do. Yeah. Maybe they do. I guess I liked the fact that they were doing it. And it was, like I said, because everything else I liked. The setup was like an old school. It wasn't like ha-ha's going on. It was interesting. Who's the killer? They're playing a game. I like that. It hits those buttons of the old slashers that I like, and having a murder mystery go on.
Oh, I'm glad then. But I was apologizing for recommending this to you. Now I feel like you got more enjoyment than I did from this. So that's good.
I definitely did. I like that it all takes place in one location, as opposed to a Scream movie, which yes, is a whodunit, and it's like, are you the killer? Are you the killer? But it goes on for freaking a week, and this and that, and there's all these different things. And
no, you're right.
This
like
is
one night,
what I realized.
One long night, or long night in Camp Blood. Like, you're right. Like, I'll give it credit for that.
Preference.
Like, one night, one location, group of people. So all that, all that's there. You're right. Maybe
that's what I like. 24 to 48. Hey, all right.
Because now you are reminding me of the things that I do like about it, and that are on point, and I may be putting too much weight on the dislikable. Like, they weren't, like, again, I don't think they were written to be likable, so they succeeded. So I guess why would I use that as a detriment to the movie to the extent that I am? I mean, again, my enjoyment was hindered by it, but if that was their intention, then so be it. So I guess they succeeded, like I said. But
yeah, no, I liked it. It was a good enough story. The one guy, Pete Davidson, he just reminds me of Steve O from what do you call it?
Jackass. Yeah,
that it could have just been Steve O in the same part. It would have been the same thing to me. He acted like I thought I would be. See, he comes off like an asshole, but then he has the heart to heart, and he's real tight with what's her name, with Sophie. And he brings her in the room, he says, listen, and he doesn't make excuses for himself. He knows that he's partying too much and everything else. But I mean, he isn't, the only person he's a dick to is that guy. Everyone else, they've been like friends for a long time.
Yeah,
Either way, I don't want
I
to
can't
defend every
say I would.
character.
I'm not. I wasn't a dick or can't be a dick to somebody. I have that tendency. Who,
Yeah, I
me?
mean, and
Yeah.
the people are at this party. There's kids. People are freaking murdered. You know what I mean? Everyone's not going to be on their freaking best behavior, and old wounds are going to open up, and people are going to fight because they don't know who the killer is. So of course they're going to get. That's human nature. They usually tend to get to the worst. How many times have you seen that in slashers? People turning on each other, and you know, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting take in 2022 to kind of have a slasher like that. That yes, still has to have modern sensibilities, but hey, if we're going to have modern sensibilities, let's at least make fun of the freaking modern sensibilities because they're ridiculous. So we're going to do this. We're going to poke a little fun, but we're still going to try to do old school murder mystery slasher set in one location. Now, would it have been better if there actually was a killer roaming the place and we get a good thing? Yeah, it's almost like they always want to pull the rug up
Yeah.
nowadays instead of just having the killer. It's got to be something more grand. Meanwhile, all we want is a freaking old school slasher. Does anybody ever complain when an old school type slasher comes out and freaking it's just a killer that does his thing? Nobody.
Yeah.
People love
Oh, they do complain. Trust me, they complain. Everybody complains about everything nowadays. You
it.
can't
Well,
win. That's the problem.
that's irrelevant. We
But
know that.
are you? So
But I'm
would
saying,
you? Would you could? Would this make your list? Would you consider
well, it's
this?
a seven.
Yeah.
It's a
So there you
seven.
go.
So it's on the cusp. We're going to see what happens when the time comes. See, but I have to watch this. We got to watch Totally Killer again. We got to watch freaking The Final Girls. We got to watch all. Well, Final Girls is another level to me. It really is the best of the
That was another
modern
level. That was like,
of that type. See, that's what I'm saying. We got to watch Happy Birthday to Me or whatever the fuck it's called. Happy Death Day to You and the other one. There's all these modern slashers now. Sissy's another one. Again, what I give Sissy an 8, I think. 7.5. Either way.
Sissy's probably going to be on my list, unless like based on the rating, unless there's like again, I haven't hammered down that list yet.
Right.
But yeah,
No, but I'm looking at like
6.5, man. Like you talked me up because you're bang on, and your argument is on point. Like I said it, I'm now sending a broken record trying to sell your argument, but you know you won me over with what you're saying. I was just being a little too harsh, I think, on my distaste for the actual characters.
well, you're not the only one. A lot of people have said that about these characters. So I understand it.
But
I don't want to say
I
I'm
had
more
to look at
patient.
it. I can't imagine them being written to be likable. Like I don't think the writers. So I think, like I said, they succeeded. So
Well, it's a
isn't that
murder
a win?
mystery.
Like it's
Look at Brooklyn 45. You got
yeah,
to have shades of shit in there. Otherwise, it's not an interesting thing. You can't have 5 people in a
shades
room.
of shit.
You do. You got to have shades of shit. You got to have something beneath the surface for them to bicker about something. Because otherwise, that's your script. You have
Yeah,
people in a room facing a situation, a dire situation that's life or death, and people that have known each other for years and years. Honestly, the worst is going to come out of them. It's sad to say, but I think if you know people for 20, 30 years or something, and you all get put in a situation like that, you're going to be more cordial to strangers if you're in a situation like that than you are going to be the people that you're used to, and you're going to be end up picking on each other because that's what happens when you're comfortable. You're
sure.
too comfortable with people,
Yeah,
and you say things that you're not going to say. It's like, so I don't know. Maybe I think about human nature too much about maybe I'm just too into psychological shit where I'm always looking to see what made this person act this way because they do give you
but
drops of it. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about the movie. I'm
no,
just
no, that's what we're here for. But no, I agree. I am happy you do, because A, I'm happy that you enjoyed it more than I did, and B, you made me realize that yeah, I was just being a little too harsh on one aspect of it, where there is all these other elements that really do kind of shine. So yeah,
well. Look at
it's good,
Jordan.
and it's not
Jordan,
blood
you
free.
didn't like
It at
her,
least had some gore as well. That was
right?
the other thing.
You least
It's not sissy gore, but there's at
no,
least bloodshed.
right, for sure. But like, look at a character like Jordan. There's this scene, and yes, she does shoot the girl, and okay, but the taunting that's going on at that point about, oh, I'm so tired of your rags to riches story this and that. And she goes, your parents
Upper
are
middle class.
upper middle class. And it's like,
Yeah.
this bothers that girl because she wants to be into this group with these people. And she's come, apparently she started with no money. And then she, in her life, her parents have, found more fortune.
But imagine being the blonde girl, like Sophie's girlfriend. Like, you must be like, who the fuck am I? Where the fuck
Right?
am I? You're upper middle class. You're a lower rung of rich than what we are.
Right? I know. But that's how those people are. And
Yeah.
it was important for
The
her to be viewed as rich like the other one. She goes, we're all rich. She goes, but Sophie and what do you call it? Pete Davidson, Sophie and the other guy, you're really rich. There's a difference.
Well, that's the class system, and that's where the movie does shine because, yeah, everything you've said. Like, I'm just repeating myself, but
yeah, right on.
I agree. I agree with like that aspect of it. There's some good commentary there, for sure.
Yeah, and the acting is good. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do. And again, I just love the girls. I just love, Sophie and Jordan are just, I wish I could see them them hooking up on the bar on the way up. Just, you stop by and we screwed around at my place and blah blah blah. That would be a movie.
Maybe they'll be on the Blu-ray deleted scenes.
No, they're just beautiful, beautiful women. So anyway,
awesome.
So,
well, I'm glad. Again, 7, 6.5. So we're not far off by any means. Just the way we talk, kind of in extremes on the show as we usually do. And we already said next week we're prepping it. Looks like it's going to be a Valentine's Day.
Yeah, what is it now? We're doing the
I think Valentine, because we've never talked about it.
That's right.
And I suggested My Bloody Valentine remake because I don't think we talked about that either. We've done My Bloody Valentine on the bonus show, with Moods and someone else, Jerry Herring, maybe? back in the day.
I don't know. I don't know. Jerry or Nudie or who knows? Who the hell was on that show? There was 4 people on those 2 shows.
I'm blending them together because we did The Mist and we did My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, Watson.
Yeah.
Well, it was Watson in Moods, I think. And then the other show was Jerry and Nudie.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So, so that's what we're thinking. Valentine and My Bloody Valentine 2009.
There you go.
AKA
we got to watch them anyway. We got to watch them anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. So, all right. And next time will be all horror talk.
Straight talk only in here.
Straight talk only, right? All killer, no filler. You know what says that? We're gonna have to be it next week. Although we are all killer and filler on this show. Shit, holy cow! But it is what it is. So yeah, we'll get out of here. We love you guys. Thank you for everything, and putting up with us and me specifically. So much love and Manchichi, and anything from UC.
Good night, everybody.